The Pittsburgh Steelers have been active in the 2025 free agency cycle, and it started by trading for DK Metcalf. They bring in Darius Slay from the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, but yet this is still a team that has a lot of question marks surrounding it, particularly around the quarterback position. It seems like they are in a good position to land Aaron Rodgers, and I'm recording this at 1:30 p.m. on March 15th. It seems like they are in a position where Aaron Rodgers could be coming in, but that's not a long-term option at the quarterback position. This is a Steelers team that has questions, and today I'm going to be attempting to answer them with a 7-round Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft. If you guys are new to the channel, I am doing one of these on all 32 NFL teams going in draft order, and we are now at the number 21 spot. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and check out my Patreon page, which I'll leave linked down in the description below. It's just $5 a month, and you guys will get full access to my in-depth draft guide and big board with over 500 prospects and counting. You can read all of my scouting reports, look at updated combine and pro day numbers. It's ordered by position. I've got my full big board, and I think it's a tool that would be very beneficial to you guys, and it's an easy way to support the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the picks. Do you like them? Do you not? Let's go ahead and kick this off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're on the clock here at number 21 overall. And for the sake of this exercise, I've already taken Jahdae Barron and Kelvin Banks in a previous mock draft. I know a lot of people are going to say if Jahdae is here, take him. He's off the board for the sake of this exercise. This is a really tough spot, and ideally I would have loved a trade down if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. But unfortunately, we didn't get any offers that made a lot of sense. There weren't really a lot of teams scrambling to move up the board with how it fell. So we're kind of forced to make a decision. And they are in a really tough spot because wide receiver, I don't think is that big of a need. You could go defensive line. Walter Nolan is another player that is off the board for this exercise. We took him in a previous video. I think it's a good enough defensive line class that I can wait on that. Running back, they could go Omarion Hampton, which I think is probably the smartest pick to make. But given the history of Pittsburgh taking first-round running backs and how the Najee Harris thing ended, I think it might scare the Steelers away. So I'm going to go a different route here that I think makes a lot of sense for them. And I know it's going to make Steelers fans upset. I know they're not going to like this, but I am going to go quarterback here and go with Jackson Dart. Now, I know what you're saying. JWAC, they're probably going to sign Aaron Rodgers. They don't need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers hasn't proven that he can stay healthy over the last couple of seasons, and you're going to need an insurance plan. And last time I checked, I don't think Mason Rudolph is that guy. Dart is a really interesting player. He comes from a very interesting offense at Ole Miss where a lot of it was quick read and throw. He is not coming into Pittsburgh to be the starting quarterback day one. This isn't a Kenny Pickett situation. This is a situation where he's going to sit for a year or two, learn the NFL game. But if you look at the weapons that they brought in, they traded for DK Metcalf, they have George Pickens, at least for the time being. This is a team that wants a quarterback that can throw the deep ball and let those guys do what they do best, which is win the go balls. Jackson Dart ran that offense at Ole Miss to perfection, has a very good arm, can connect on deep throws very accurately. And it seems like as we get closer and closer to the draft, Jackson Dart is going to be a first-round quarterback. Not only is he a solid overall quarterback with his arm, had a 77.5% adjusted completion, but he can make plays happen on the ground. 648 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. They want to run the football. This is the type of quarterback that Pittsburgh has been looking for. A big arm, athleticism to extend plays. I think he's a better version of what you got from Justin Fields at the beginning of last year with a better arm, better accuracy, and he's an overall smarter player. Again, he's coming in to develop for a couple of years. This is similar to the Jordan Love situation. It's similar to the J.J. McCarthy situation. But if you can get him in the building, let's say you do sign an Aaron Rodgers, I think you'd feel really confident about your quarterback plan moving forward. So I am going to take Jackson Dart here at number 21. I think it's very likely that Pittsburgh is going to be in on the quarterback market in this draft, and Jackson Dart just happens to be the best one on the board. So I'm going to go with him here at number 21. On the clock here at number 83, and I think it's a no-brainer with how the board fell. Defensive line is a position that I would love to address, but I just didn't like the way the board fell. We need that 3 tech, a guy that can replace Larry Ogunjobi. And I just don't think that guy is here on the board. Maybe down the line, we can go get a Vernon Broughton, Ahmad Hassanin. I really like Jared Harrison Hunt. But here at 83, I think it's a little rich. So we are going to go with the running back position. And Cam Skattebo is on the board. He is the most Steelers pick in this entire draft. And it just makes sense with the way the board fell. You need a running back. I know you brought in Kenneth Gainwell. You still have Jaylen Warren. You need another guy in this room. Skattebo gives you a little bit of everything. He's a powerful running back that is just so good after contact. I mean, this is a guy that broke so many tackles, 102 missed tackles forced this past season for Arizona State. 1,200 yards after contact, averaging 4.09 yards after contact per attempt. This guy is impossible to bring down. But not only that, he's a really reliable receiving option. At 543 receiving yards this past season on 44 receptions, he can run routes out of the backfield. He's got really reliable hands. And this is a guy that just runs hard every single play. He is looking to take people's heads off. He is looking to break tackles left and right and extend the play. His legs never stop moving, and he brings a lot to the table. Now, obviously, I think the big concerns around Skattebo are going to be his speed. We didn't see him test at the combine. He's probably going to run in the 4.6s. I don't think anyone is expecting him to run in the 4.4s. But with his contact balance, receiving upside, I think you're willing to live with that if you are the Steelers. He's got phenomenal vision. He's just a smart football player that fits the Steelers culture. And if he's on the board at 83, I'm taking him. I think he is a phenomenal player that would make all the sense in the world and would really open up this offense to another level that I don't think they've had because Najee Harris has been very inconsistent. I think Cam Skattebo is going to be the pick here, and I love his fit for the Steelers here at 83. On the clock here at pick number 123, and I would have loved a trade back here, was really trying to move back into the 130s and try and pick up an extra pick. Unfortunately, teams just didn't want to move, and it's understandable, but we are going to end up picking a player here. There are a couple of options here that I think would make a lot of sense. Ty Robinson from Nebraska had one of the best combine performances of any of the defensive tackles. He's 6'5", 288 pounds, only 32.25-inch arms, but he ran a 4.83 with a 1.71 10-yard split, 28 on the bench, a 33.5-inch vertical, a 9.11 broad jump, 4.5 on the shuttle. I mean, his numbers were phenomenal for Nebraska this past season, where he really showcased the ability to be a consistent pass rusher. 10.4% pass rush win rate, 6 sacks, 42 pressures on the season. You're kind of looking to replace some of that production from Larry Ogunjobi at that 3-tech spot, a guy that can get after the quarterback. I think Ty Robinson very well could be that player. You also could look at the safety position. That strong safety spot, been a bit of a concern. Billy Bowman, I think, is more of a free safety. I think probably the same with Jalen Reed. I think you can wait on safety. I like Maxon Hook down the board. I like Kitchen Crawford, Hunter Wohler. There's some good options down the board I can wait on. And then corner, you also could go with Za Frazier here as a player that I really like. Just got around to his tape recently. He's long, he's physical, plays well in zone. The ball skills are certainly there. And Darius Slay's only on a 1-year deal. You are going to need another cornerback option long term. And I know you brought in Brandon Eccles to play the nickel. I think you need a long-term boundary corner. I think Za Frazier would make a lot of sense here. Given the way the board has fallen, I think I am probably going to go with Ty Robinson. I just think after his combine, he's probably not getting out of the top 130 at this point. You got to go get another piece on this defensive line. I think Ty Robinson would make a lot of sense. He's quick to the ball. He's really powerful. I think he's showcased some good pass rush moves from time to time. I think he could be a good player. So I'm going to take Ty Robinson here at number 123. So we got offered this trade here at 162, and I'm going to make this deal with the Dallas Cowboys. They're giving us 171, 211, and 247 to move up to 162. There's a lot of players in this class that I have my eye on. Maybe we try and leverage some of those later 7th-round picks to move back up into the 6th round or something for a player I really like. I just didn't love the way the board fell for us here at 162. So I'm going to make this deal with Dallas, move back 9 spots, and acquire some extra draft capital in this class. On the clock here at pick 171, and I really love the way that this ends up working out for us. Zoff Frazier got taken. I would have liked to have him, but Bilal Kone from Western Michigan is one of the more underappreciated corners in this draft class. 6'1", 186 pounds. He is a little bit light on the boundary. You'd like to see him get a little bit bigger, but man, this is a guy that fits Steelers culture. Really great length for the position. I believe he has got, let me pull up this really quick, 74 and an 1/8 inch wingspan, pretty solid. He's so fast. Ran a 4.43, really quick, showed some serious burners for the cornerback position. I really like his press man technique. He's physical, has fluid hips, knows how to play with a punch. He's got to improve as a tackler. He bits sometimes in zone coverage, allowing some big plays. But Darius Slay's on a 1-year deal. Brandon Echols has had some up and down play. I think he's been overall pretty good. You go and get Bilal Kone. He's got boundary potential. He can play in the slot, can play a little bit of everywhere for you on the defensive side of the ball. I think you might have a really good player here in the 5th round. I personally have a 4th round grade on Bilal Kone, and I've got him higher than some of the corners that have already been taken. I'm a big fan of his game. I think he's going to translate really well to the NFL level. Had a really solid pro day, and I think he's underappreciated and undervalued in this class. So I'm going to take him here at 171. Here at pick 185, I want to go get some more wide receiver depth for the Steelers. You're going to have suspensions to George Pickens and or DK Metcalf at this point. It's just the price you got to pay for those two guys. George Pickens' future with this team is uncertain, and I think you just need to get more depth. Roman Wilson didn't play last season, but I think he could be a solid backup on the boundary. I think you need another slot option. Roman Wilson could play in both the slot and the boundary, but getting a slot guy that I think you can do a lot of fun stuff with, I think could be a really good pickup. And I look at Jalen Lane here from Virginia Tech as a really solid option for this team. He had a phenomenal draft combine where he ran a 4.34 with a 1.5 split, 40-inch on the vertical, 11-foot on the broad, and a 4.12 on the 20-yard shuttle. He's really quick. He's shifty, knows how to get in and out of his breaks, and I think he brings you some tremendous upside on special teams. He has been a really good return man throughout his career. I think this is a great pick here in the 6th round where you go out and you get a receiver that I think can give you good contributions as a rookie. He knows how to separate, knows how to get open, and his speed can be a threat if you want to get him involved on gadget plays and things of that nature. Drops have been a concern for him. He had 5 drops this past season, but as a 3rd, 4th receiver on this team, as a backup to Calvin Austin and a special teams guy, I think he's worth a shot here at 185. So we're going to make this pick for the Steelers. Here at pick 211, I want to go get some more safety depth for this team. You've got Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the top safeties in the game. Outside of him, though, this is not a very strong group. R.J. Mickens from Clemson is one of my favorite safeties in this draft class that just doesn't get talked about enough. He's a really solid player and has been very productive for the Clemson defense. He's got great sideline-to-sideline speed, ran a 4.49, which is a good time for a safety. He's 6 foot, 207. He's a really hard physical player that has versatility to play all over on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in man coverage, though. I thought in one-on-one situations, he did a really, really good job. He can play in the box, he can play over top, and he gives you a lot of versatility on the back end of your defense. He's an older prospect, which is why I think ultimately he is going to drop a little bit. And there were some times where I thought his play strength when getting off of blocks was really inconsistent. But as another guy that I think fits the Steelers culture, he's pretty athletic for the position, and he can play in coverage. So I'm going to take him here at 211, try and develop him into being a long-term safety starter next to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Here at pick 229, I'm really excited because we get to take a player that I absolutely love in this draft class that is not getting talked about enough, and that's going to be UCF tackle Amari Kite. This is a really, really fun offensive line prospect that started his career at Alabama, transferred to UCF in 2023, and has been pretty productive for the Knights. I mean, he's coming off a season where he allowed just 13 pressures and 4 sacks on the season. Overall, solid numbers. He's not going to wow you. He's a 7th round pick for a reason, but he's got really good size and length. He's 6'7", 318 pounds. I thought he had a really high football IQ, recognized blitz and stunts, picks them up really well. Great footwork, great hands and pass protection. And he's just a really hard player to move. Once he gets his feet set, I thought he had a really good technique. He's not an amazing run blocker. He does get heavy on his feet and gets beat to quickness. But you lose Dan Moore, you lose Chukwuma Okorafor, you're going to need some swing tackle depth on this offensive line. And I think Amari Kite in the 7th round is well worth the investment. Don't pay attention to where he's ranked on the consensus board because I've got a 5th round grade on this player. I think he's a really solid sleeper, and I'm going to take him here at 229. Here at pick 245, we are going to double down on getting some more help on the offensive line. I really like Bryce Cabledew out of Kansas, a guy that played tackle this past season for the Jayhawks. I think he's a pretty good athlete. He's got the ability to climb up into the 2nd level, good upper body strength, strong player that has a finishing mentality, and he's got really good hand placement. Knew how to counter with swipes, and I thought he was a really smart football player. Doesn't have the longest arm, so he's probably going to play guard at the NFL level. He's pretty heavy on his feet. Run blocking can be inconsistent yet again. But here at 245, worth the investment to go get another just rotational offensive lineman that if a player does get hurt, you've got a guy that I think can give you some insurance on the O-line. I like Bryce Cabledew. I think he's underappreciated, and I'm going to take him at 245. With our final pick at 247, I'm just going to take another edge rusher. TJ Watt is getting up there in age. You've dealt with injuries in the past. I think you can never have too many edge rushers in this league. And I really like Jasheem Davis out of Wake Forest. He's a player that I've been a fan of since last season. I've got a 5th to 6th round grade on him. He's a guy that has really good size, but is not the fastest player in the world. He's probably a 4.6 guy. I don't think he has had his pro day yet, so I don't really know the official numbers. Tackling can be inconsistent, but I like his size, like his length. What I love most about him, though, is just the ability to win with a variety of different pass rush moves. He has a chop, he has a spin, he's got a swim. He can do so many different things with his hands in order to win the rep. And I think that fits what Pittsburgh wants to do. So he's a great outside linebacker. And I'm going to take him with our final pick at 247. So there we have it, Steelers fans. My 7-round Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft. Would have loved to trade up or trade back sooner. Just didn't end up materializing any deals. But I love the way this turned out. You get a Larry Ogunjobi replacement. You get a running back who I love. Depth along the offensive line. A future franchise quarterback, hopefully. And some cornerback and secondary help. So I love the way this turned out. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comment section. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.